can, I know.
Hi guys, this is Celsa. I'm driving.
Oh, that's all right, Salsa. So if you could just tell us a little bit about your business.
Yeah, my business is North End Kitchen and Bath. I am a co-owner and we're based out of Bridgeport. We provide cabinetry and stone countertop for customers.
Yes, we
Okay.
love Bridgeport. That is my hometown, and I know that's Petra's hometown too. So,
Yep.
oh yes.
I
All
know.
right.
I'm
So,
in I'm in winter now, but that's where I was
yeah.
raised on the east end.
Oh yeah, North End for me, but I'm in East Hartford now. So thank you everybody for joining and for giving us a little bit of background information about yourselves. I think we've waited about 5 minutes, so I think we're going to get started with Miss Petra. So thank you, Petra, for joining and taking the time out of your busy schedule to get us caught up and helping us with building our budgets. A couple weeks ago, you were able to get us started on, looking at our finances and looking at budgets and things like that. So here we are back again, and you're going to give us some more information on that. So I just wanted to, thank everybody for coming, on, their lunch breaks and stuff like that. So I'm gonna pass the mic over to Miss Petra so she can take this time to help us out with building our budget and looking at our finances.
Thank you, Ray. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here, excited that you are here, and I know you're on your lunch break. I know the deal. I used to go through these things on my lunch break as well in the corner. But my name is Petra-Ann Brown. As Ray mentioned, I am the founder of Brown Financial Solutions and the host of the Island Money 365 podcast. So check those out. But I am a financial educator. I must say this, I'm not a financial advisor. I am not an accountant. I am not a lawyer, a tax preparer, a stockbroker. And I say all that because I always get that question. Always, always, always get that question. Not only that, people call my business line all the time. Hey, I want to get my taxes done. So luckily I have someone I can send them to, but that's not me. I am a financial educator. I work with organizations to provide financial programs, literacy programs. I also work with individuals to help them take back control of their money. How many of us ask ourselves or wonder where our money went, right? That question. We shouldn't be asking ourselves that question. That's the one thing you have control over is your money. And I was asking myself the same question. So I'm not sitting here like a hypocrite saying, oh, I don't understand. I totally get it. Where did my money go? You worked so hard for that money. And then it's like you are like a money transmitter. It comes in and it goes out. You have no idea what's happening to it. So this workshop, I want it to be conversational. This workshop is for you. I want you to ask the questions that you want to ask them in the chat. You can raise your hand. Ray's going to help me with that. Right, Ray? She's going to
Yes.
help me with that, keep me on track. But this workshop is for you. And when you leave here, I want you to be able to have the tools to create a shift in your finances. And that's very important to me. So even if, you ask me a question that I'm not talking about, it doesn't matter. I'm here. I'll answer them for you. All right. So let's get started. So, and now my thing is frozen. Let's see if we can get it going. Okay, there you go. Today, the workshop is called Making Your Money Work for You. Because how many of us, like, despite our best effort, I mean, whether you raise a hand or, put a one in the chat, despite our best effort, we still feel like we're on the struggle bus. Seriously, like, you're doing everything right. Your savings, you're putting money in your retirement, you're budgeting, or something can be, are not budgeting, but you feel like you're doing the things that the experts are saying to do. But yet, still you still feel like a tight or a lot tight. How many of you are in that situation? Put a one in the chat if you are, high five. Well, you guys are not on camera, but I've been there, I totally get it. I've been there as a financial examiner. I made good money, I would say. Not a brag or anything, I made good money, but I found myself also living paycheck to paycheck. So it's not about how much money you make, but it's really about your management of that money, your mindset, your how you look. And I see those ones coming in, how you view your money, right? So once again, today, how can we gain control of our finances and feel more secure about our financial future? What is it that's holding us back? What is it that we don't know? What is it that we're missing? Why is it that we're not seeing a movement in our money? Does anyone even know that? Like, have you ever thought that question? Like, why am I not seeing movement in my money? And what answer did you come up with for yourself? I'd love to know. If you ever ask yourself that question, why am I not seeing movement in my money?
I think for me, it's giving into the wants instead of like making sure I feed the needs first and not spending on my wants a lot.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. Okay. All right. Well, you know what? Let me tell you, managing your money isn't just about numbers. It's not, as you can tell. Mariah, it's not about numbers. It's about creating stability. It's about reducing stress and building confidence in your financial future. It's about, most important, it's about behavior. It's about beliefs. It's about mindsets, right? Money is emotional. It is so emotional. Everybody's like, oh, we're going to figure these numbers. I know 1 + 1 is 2. I get it. But my 1 + 1 is not adding up to 2 over here, right? Because there's a lot of other factors that goes into managing your money. So your financial future depends on your viewpoint, your mindset, right? So today, to get the tools, as we're going to get the tools to create the future that we want, I need you, and this is something I always do in my presentation, because we have to get our mindset right. Because if I ask you, who wants to be a millionaire, you'll all raise your hands like, oh yeah, I want to be a millionaire. But if I ask you, who here believes they will be a millionaire, how many of you would hesitate a little bit? Like, think about that. But like, well, and start second guessing, right? And you start second guessing, like, well, I would like to, I don't know if it's possible, right? Then you change your answer. But if I say, oh, who's be a millionaire? Me? Fantastic. Who believes it? Our mindset, right? Our mindset is very, very important. If we don't work on that, it doesn't matter how many tools I give you. It's not going to make a difference because you don't believe it. You can't see it. So that's why I always ask, any kind of workshop I do, I said, the first thing you need to do on this financial journey is to have that vision board, is to list your goals. Because if I come up to you today and say, hey, give me a list of goals. Let me see your list. Let me see that list of dreams. Could you give it to me? Why not? So how are you functioning? What are you working towards? Why are you doing this? So we got to start there. What do you aspire? Why are you here today on your lunch break or taking this time of your day when you could be doing anything else in the world? Why are you here today? What is it that you're looking for, right? That's what we need to understand. And then put into action, start making out a roadmap to how we're going to get there. So, Ray's going to give me 60 seconds and I really want you to really think about that. What are your goals? What are your aspirations for your business, for yourself? And let's make it in the next 5 years. What are they? I give you 60 seconds to do so. And you can tell me right when that 60 seconds is up. You can list them on your phone, on your might be at work. You can write them down, listen on your phone, put them in the chat. If you don't have any writing utensils near, put them in the chat, whatever they are, if you want to share. Because I can't tell the last time I watched TV, Ray. Because I don't want to. The NBA is going on, and I'm like, I love basketball, but right
Mm.
now I'm in a different kind of season, you know? And I don't know what season you guys are in. It could be a winter season, it could be a hard season, it could be a spring season, it could be a summer season. You know, good times, bad times. We all go through seasons, and guess what? The seasons, they follow the same pattern every year. But for us to create a shift, we have to know where we're going. Does anybody want to share what their goals, their aspiration, what's on that visual roadmap for them?
And that's the 60 seconds.
Yeah. Anybody?
So in the chat, we have Celsa. Celsa says that she wants to be debt-free. She's questioning if that's possible. I know some people who are debt-free, so I'd say that that's definitely possible.
I can tell
And
you it is possible. So I was $6,000 to $8,000 in debt, and I was like, this is enough. I had my enough is enough moment, you know, and I always tell the story because I could not buy diapers or box of pizza, large pizza without putting on a credit card. And I was over it. And that's going to change for you when you've had your filled and you have enough moment. And you're like, you know what? It ends here. This is it. I am done. I'm changing my life. I'm changing this. This will not be my story. And once you hit that moment and decided this is what I'm going to do, absolutely, absolutely, it will happen. Because then you're going to take the steps necessary, like showing up here today to do so. All right. Anybody else want to share? Okay. Remember, this is a safe space. Ask your question. There's no judgment. Any financial hoo-ha, I've probably done it. I've probably heard about it and seen it with my clients. So it is a-okay. Ask your question. Don't be ashamed, because you need to get some movement on your financial journey, in your financial life. And that's the only way you're going to get it, is by getting the tools you need. I see your Roz. Yes. Purchase needs versus wants. Okay. All right, so thank you so much for sharing. So my story now, let me show you this as well. And the reason I have this slide as yes, because I'm saying yes, anything that you wrote down, anything that you want or envision, it is possible. My mom migrated here from Jamaica. You know, she came here first and then she brought us over. And with us two daughters, she had to completely rebuild. When she came here, she was a teacher back home, a professional, well-respected professional back home. She came here and she was cleaning homes, right? She went to Westport. I'm not gonna say she went to the wealthy families. That was a process. That was the rite of passage. She cleaned floors. She took care of their children. At this time, it was called living work, meaning that she would leave us with a mother of the church for the entire week. She goes there for the entire week, and she came back home on the weekend. So she left Sunday, came back home on Friday nights. And she did that. And she was getting paid $10,500 a year. $10,500 a year. And she was cleaning these big homes by herself and taking care of the children, right? Now, with all of that, eventually the family, they're nice people. Eventually, the family had a beat up car, a Jeep that they had in their garage that was just running away. My mom asked them for it. She got it fixed up, and then she was able to go back and forth to work. But even through that, and my mom doing that work, being a respected teacher back home, coming here cleaning floors, never complained. She always, on every weekend, when she got that car, bring us around Fairfield County, bring us around Westport, and you already know what we're talking about, those people from Bridgeport that we're talking about, and drive us around the homes and the neighborhoods. And she was like, one day you guys are going to have houses like this. You guys are going to drive cars like this. You guys are going to go to college and get a great education. She was like, show us a possibility. Yet, my house, go back to our apartment, were empty cupboards. Nothing in them but a bag of flour, maybe a bag of rice. My mom said, once you have a bag of flour and a bag of rice, you'll never go hungry. Those are the two staples you need to have. And that's what she did every weekend. Fast forward, my mom is now a head nurse, and at the age of 62, she's currently in college going for her APRN, okay? Own her own house, her two daughters own homes, right? I have a great career and I have my own business. Is it possible? Absolutely. But you have to have the vision and you have to be willing to put in the work for it. All right. So that's what I'm talking about. You are living in a land of opportunities. People say that all the time, but you have to have the dream first for it to happen. So yes, it is possible for you to be debt free. It is possible for you to have the life that you want. It is possible for you to have everything that is written down on that list that you have or what you have in your head. It is. If, and y'all know the if was coming, right? If, I know that if was coming. If you're willing to be intentional in your money decision making, if you're willing to make temporary sacrifice and have delayed gratification, if you're willing to say no to yourself today so you can say a lot more yes later. So just think about that as you go. Yes, it is possible. Some quick facts for you, and then we're going to dive in to that budget. I know you guys are so excited to hear about that budget. I know you love it. Can't wait to hear about it, right? So some quick facts for you. 64% of the US population is living paycheck to paycheck. I like to give facts about this area. It changes year over year, and it's not that big of a change. Sometimes, the increase is significant, but there's increases year over year. 59% of Americans cannot cover $1,000 emergency. 72% of Americans say they could not live off their savings for 6 months, meaning that they cannot cover 6 months worth of expenses. And how do you figure that out? How do you figure that 6 months worth of expenses? You look at all your bills, add them up and say, what is my bill for? If anything should go wrong, what will it cost me to live for a month? And then multiply that by 6, and you'll get that number, right? Can you afford to live with your current paycheck or without your current paycheck, right? Based on what's in your savings account. And 20% of high income earners live paycheck to paycheck. So just because you have money doesn't mean you're going to manage that money well, or you know what to do, or you're better off. The secret sauce is you have to know how to manage your funds, right? And I love this quote: people do not decide their future, they decide their habits, and their habits decide their future, right? So let's get started. Hopefully I know what that quote means to you, but I know what it means a lot to me, right? All right, so first thing, step 2, get organized and create a budget. If you're like wondering, wait a minute, Petro, where was step 1? Well, remember we're talking about mindset change, talking about, writing down those visions that you have for yourself, seeing what is it that we want. That was step 1, your mindset change, right? Getting organized, believing what's possible, and then making that list for yourself. Step 2 is the budget. Getting organized and creating a budget. Now, a lot of us say that, I've tried this. I'm not here to say this, right? I've tried a budget. I cannot stick to it. I don't know what's going on. Have anyone here tried, let's rephrase a question. Has anyone here tried to do a budget and cannot stick to it? Or is anyone budgeting currently and is okay with budgeting? Anybody? You can come off mute, or you can just say, you can say 1 if you're doing a budget and you're good with it, or 2, you have tried and it's no bueno, not good.
Yeah.
That's a 2 for me.
That's good. I'm happy, Jason. You're doing well with budgeting. Awesome. All right. So anybody else? Okay. So with budgeting, the first thing I need you to do is know your numbers. You have to know your numbers, right? And I know when you hear the word budget, some of your brains probably turn off and like, oh my gosh, I can't. But I'm gonna need you to get over that. I really am gonna need you to get over that when it comes to the word budget. So you need to call it whatever you need to call it. I'm happy. If you want to call it your wealth builder, if you want to call it your money maker, your sidekick, whatever you need to call the word budget for you to get past that block that's preventing you from even thinking of it or looking at your numbers, we need to do that, because a budget is the single most important tool you have to building wealth and to changing your financial story. You need to know what's happening. It keeps you informed, right? The budget gives you direction. It gives you direction. It tells your money where to go, what to do. So the first thing I want you to do when it comes to the budget, before even take out your pen and paper for that, I need you to look at your bank statements. And I know Mariah, if I'm saying that right, said that she looked at her
Yes.
bank statement and she was not happy. It tells you, your bank statement tells you exactly what you're doing. It's not gonna lie to you, okay? And that's why I'm saying, look at your budget, get rid of that block, look at your budget as, it's actually, instead of looking at your budget as that family or that friend that whenever they come in the room, you just change your whole mood. You know, that friend and that family member that when they come in, you're like, here we go. You just change your whole mood of the room, right? That's not it. Your budget is your best friend. The person is gonna let you know, like, hey, you really shouldn't wear that, or hey, you know what? You might not have the money right now. I know you want that all-inclusive vacation, but you need to close that browser right now, right? Because we all we have is $1,000. So we cannot do all-inclusive right now, but we can do something in Florida, or we can go to Miami, and not Miami, we can go to Vermont, we can go to New Hampshire. The budget let you know what you can do. So review those bank statements, and I want you to print out specifically, listen to this, I want you to print out 3 months worth of bank statements for each account. For each account. Why 3 months? I am so happy that you asked. That's a fantastic question. This is why 3 months. 1 month might be an anomaly, right? 1 month might be a fluke. 3 months, it's a pattern, isn't it? Yeah, it's a pattern. It's letting you know you have something to work on. So look at it for 3 months, and then, go through those items line by line. See where your money is going. And if you see that, as she said, she eat out a lot, add it up. What is that costing you every month? Add it up. Those things that keep reoccurring over and over and over outside of your normal utility bills, add it up and see what it's costing you. And then you decide, because this is personal now, you decide, is this worth it or is it not? If this is the lifestyle that you want and you have no problem with it, okay, right? It's a trade-off. By doing this, and it's going to cost you this much money monthly, what's the trade-off? You will not have money for something else. You will not pay these bills. You might not be debt-free as quickly as you possibly can. Your emergency fund might not increase as fast as it possibly could. It's a trade-off. So those bank statements tell us what's happening, and it shows us, it's a reflection of our behavior. It's a mirror of what's going on, right? Organize your bank account. So many clients come to me and they have like 10 bank accounts. And they were like, you know what, why do you have these bank accounts? Well, it helped me save. Okay, possibly. Possibly, it could help you save. However, what I've found in my years of doing this is that oftentimes they spread the money out so thin they do not know what they have, and they keep having to go to other accounts to get their money back into the main account anyway to cover the bills, to cover the expenses. So this is my suggestion to you. You have your employer, or if you have a self-funding business, but if you have an employer, have them deposit that money into your main bank account, right? You can also have them send money directly to your emergency fund account. So automation, I love when you do that. But for the rest of the money, all of it go in one account. From there, from that one account, now you can send money to your other accounts, right? But at least everything is coming in one place. You can see the amount, and then you can disperse or allocate accordingly. Does that make sense? Give me one in the chat if that makes sense. Nope, nobody? One in the chat if it makes sense, two if it doesn't. Perfect. Okay, this way you can keep your money organized and you can see exactly what's going on and you can plan for it, all right? So that's, again, I'm going to repeat that one more time. Have your employer or yourself, if you're paying yourself, money goes into one checking account. That's a checking account. Do not put your money, your operating money in your savings account. Go in your checking account. Also have your emergency fund go automatically to your emergency fund, right? From the checking account, now, if you have other sinking funds that you want to create, other bank accounts that you have for specific reasons, you can allocate that out. Same thing for your business. You do that, and then you have your payroll account, your other inventory account, whatever accounts you have, you can make that money go from the main account, all right? Okay, so that way you're organized and you can know exactly what's what. Also, backing up to the bank statement a little bit, if you see things in your bank statement that you're not familiar with, please call and ask questions. Don't be scared to call. What is this? If you don't know what it is, cancel it. If you have multiple subscription for the same thing, you can get rid of one of them, right? Or if you like my mom, I love her to pieces. She has all the subscriptions. She have Disney, she have Paramount, she has and she still have cable by she still have cable by the way.
Oh,
So I'm like, Mom, we got to give something up. But you just never know. I'm like, Mom, you're never home anyway. Like, you don't need all these things. And she have Netflix. You don't need all these things. So, I know it's hard to let go sometimes. You're like, what if I need it? What if I'm missing? The fear of missing out, FOMO, get rid of it. Get rid of it. I just want to go back to that point. Get rid of it, okay? So after you look at those bank accounts, then we're going to get into the budget. So I know you know what's going on. You found things that you can eliminate or do without, or you know what area you're going to reduce, right? What's a budget? Your income minus your expense. Your budget is your income minus your expense. So let's talk about the income, right? Income is the money you receive in exchange for services that you do. So if I go to work, I get paid. I show up. You make those, if you own business, you don't have a 9-to-5 job along with it. You make some phone calls, you get some contracts, you get paid. If you don't make those calls, you won't get paid, right? If you don't do those networking, you won't get paid. But that any money coming in, it could be alimony, it could be child support, it could be a side hustle money. It doesn't matter. Whatever you're coming in with, that's your income, right? Now, with side hustles, I do want to say something about side hustles because everybody love the word side hustles right now. It's a great thing right now. Remember, a side hustle is a job. It's a second job or a third job. I had a lot of those. I'm Jamaican. I had a lot of those. I have a lot of jobs. All right. The stereotype is true. It's true. I embrace it. It's fine. With side hustles, you have to have a limit. You got to set a time frame for it. Okay, you can't do for it. You cannot. It's not sustainable. So you have to say, okay, if you have a lot of debt that you want to get rid of, you say, you know what? I have a lot of debt. I want to take on this other job to help me pay off this debt. Okay, how long are you gonna do that job for? What are the guidelines? I'm gonna do for 15 months. I'm gonna do for 2 years. All right. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, for example, I wanted to rebuild my kitchen. I knew I wanted to redo this kitchen before I bought the house. I was like, we need to redo this kitchen. And we held off as long as we possibly could. The doors were falling off, the cabinets, we're down to one burner on the stove. I mean, we milked that bad boy because we're saving up to fix it up. And then COVID happened and then things skyrocket. So when we did the numbers, I was like, we don't have enough. We don't have enough after getting all those calls. I look at my husband, I was like, honey, you need a second job. I told him, I was like, you need a second job. And we decided to get a second job because we needed, because we want to get that house done. We needed we're $15,000 short. Now he decided he did not want to drive his own car and put mileage on his car. So that took out Uber Eats and all those other things, right? Instacart. He was like, he wanted a steady income, like he wanted to know what he's getting every month or every week. Okay. So that will leave him being another employee at a different location. So he decided to do Stop and Shop. He did Stop and Shop. He was at the deli place and he sliced meat. So we were able to get the money that we need. But the thing is, we knew exactly 1 year. 1 year. That's what he's going to do for that 1 year. And I had to hold it down at the house with the 2 kids while he was doing it for that 1 year. And he was able to take overtime and everything. But I mean, 2 years, 3 years, no. There has to be sidelines. Does anybody do side hustles here? Anybody have additional side hustles in addition to their business and work and anything like that? No? Okay. Another thing is if you have a bit, yes, Tanya, you have a side hustle. Another way you can obviously bring in more money into your household is business. It's through your business. If you know what, you have a business, you need to ramp it up, right? You need to make those phone calls. When you get on the phone, you need to increase that money that's coming. You need to ramp it up. Now, with your savings, there's three components to savings. There's emergency fund, there's a short-term savings, and there's long-term savings. Remember before I said with the emergency fund, have your employer send your money directly to your emergency fund account. Reason being, you want to remove any friction that will prevent you from not continuing to save. As human beings, we don't like friction. Anything that's like, ugh, we got to do this, become a burden, we just stop. We just stop, we fall off. It's just what it is. That's why do you think all these businesses have you attach your credit card to their account? Because you just press the button and it comes. You don't think about it anymore. If you had to enter your credit card number every time you log into Amazon or you open your Amazon account to buy something, do you think you'll make as much purchases as you do? No, because it is telling you, oh, I'm going to spend this much on this. So removing that friction, okay? Another thing, I do want your emergency fund to be at a different bank account than your regular savings account. So usually when you open up a savings account, it's a combo of checking and savings at a particular bank. That is fantastic. That's great. That can be for your regular, sinking funds. I want you to use that for. So you can put for your savings for summer camp, savings for vacation, all that goes in there. Your emergency fund, I would like for you to have at a separate institution or even, online bank, meaning having those high yield interest accounts. You can have those as well. Because the high yield interest accounts, anyone has those, by the way? I need to ask you, does anyone have a high yield savings account? Good job, Erin. Yes. Okay. And can I ask you why you don't have a high yield savings account? A high yield savings account, I know, is usually online banks. Some traditional banks have it, but the online banks have a higher interest rate. That money compounds daily. Daily. I have a coworker of mine that with all his savings and stuff like that, outside of his investment, he's bringing home possibly $10,000 a year just from interest.
Wow.
Okay, so having a high yield savings account, you should really look into it. You can go to bankrate.com. You can see the different accounts, entities that offer this, and look which one best fits you. Look at their terms, look at their conditions. I use Capital. I'm not getting any money. I use Capital One, and the reason I went with Capital One is because I know they have a location somewhere in the U.S. Right? So back in the day, I was like, man, it's an online bank. They have no presence in the no footprint, no buildings, nothing like that, no brick and mortar. But I'm like, Capital One has that brick and mortar somewhere in the US. So yes, I went with that one, but that was the reason at that time. And I signed up for it. But you need to have a high yield savings account. Make sure it's FDIC insured, please. All right. And so I have a different institution. It could be a credit, or it can be a credit union. They give better rates than a traditional bank anyway. You need to have it. Life happens. For example, my washing machine started leaking. My pipe broke this year. What else happened this year? A lot of things. It's only May, right? So life happened to you. Life happened to you, and it's good to have that money in the emergency fund, because while you don't want to spend the money because you work so hard to save it up, it's better to have it than not to have it. It's a matter of inconvenience versus a crisis. And you don't want to be in a crisis mode all the time. Then we have short-term savings. I call short-term savings our fun money. No, want to go to a concert this summer, want to go on like a weekend getaway with your friends, short-term savings. You have that. Then you have your long-term savings. We're talking about your home. You're talking about, those big ticket items that you have to save up for. But that would be your savings. And if you could categorize them like that for yourself and see where you are financially, it'd be of good help for you. Any questions so far? Okay. Now let's look into our expenses. This is the fun part, right? Looking at our expenses. What have we been doing with our money? What's going on? What is going on? Has anyone faced their expenses lately? How did it make you feel? Honestly, I want to hear you. You can come off the chat, come off mute if you want. Like, have you truly look at your expenses and how did you feel about it? If you can. You can put in the chat as well.
I know I felt the same as Mariah.
Okay.
I know, like I recently have looked at my expenses, even with like grocery shopping, and I'm just like, man, everything is so expensive, these days that it really is truly hard to save money.
Mhm.
So I need to stop going out to eat if I go to the grocery store anyway. Uh, you know, cook the food that I buy.
What is boycott? Roz, what is boycott? I know she probably can't talk. I don't know what that is.
The Amazon and Target boycott. I haven't been shopping there. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
So I've
yes.
been saving a lot of money.
So what does that tell you, Roz? That you could have done without it? What does that tell you about
Yep. Tells me I could have done without all of those things that I purchased. Yep. Sure could.
Yeah.
But I won't say that my shopping cart at Amazon is not growing. I won't say that. But I'm not purchasing.
Mm.
Reserve for later. Save for later. Save for later.
Yeah. Or do
But-
the process of elimination.
Yes.
Is it a need or is it a want? And then that's how I get rid of a lot of stuff.
Yes. Yes. I love it. I absolutely love it. Look, I'm going to be honest with you, and this is so true. Your balance or your bank account balance is a direct reflection of your spending behavior. The balance of your bank account is a reflection of your spending behavior.
Mm.
It is. So, whatever you do affects your bank account, right? So we have fixed, variable, and periodic expenses. Fixed, it is what it is. You can't have no control over that. And then actually, let's go back to what Raz was talking about. Wants versus need, or need versus want. Do we truly understand what our needs are? Like, everybody thought about, like, do you truly understand what your needs are? What are your needs? What are your wants? Right? For example, when I was going through my debt-free journey, I got rid of everything. I was just slashing everything. I was like, I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that. My husband and I were looking at each other. He was like, "There's nothing in the cupboard." I was like, "Well, we allocated. Like at the time we allocated $500 for grocery shopping, and it's all done. So we just gotta eat whatever is in the house, right? We're not going past that. And that's one of the things that we talk about discipline, Mariah. When we're talking about that, if you say, "This is how much I'm spending on gas this month. This is how much I'm spending on food this month." Once that money is spent, you cannot go back for more. It is finished. It is done. You have to wait till the next cycle comes back around. That's the discipline you have to put in yourself, because if you say, "Oh, well, this little money over here," no, you got to tell yourself, nope, it is what it is. So sometimes, yes, my husband and I look at each other and I was like, "Okay, so you want some grilled cheese? Because that's what that's what's for dinner. Or you want some steamed rice with butter? Because that's what's for dinner, right?" You have to give yourself those boundaries and say, "No, this is what it is, and we're going to stick to it." Give those parameters so that because we're working towards that list that you have, that vision that you have for that better life for our family, for ourselves, right? So with the expenses, the fixed expense, it is what it is. You cannot control that. Your mortgage, your rent, those things that doesn't change, right? You have no influences on that. Your variable expense, all the expenses that, even though they're regular on a monthly basis, like your utilities and stuff, you do have some control. You do have some control. Like, how much water do you use? Do you have the pipe running when you're washing your dishes? Or could you fill a basin? Like I did back home, fill a basin, have the water in there and wash the dishes that way, right? You have the pipe running when you're brushing your teeth, or could you fill a cup and put it on the side, brush your teeth, and then rinse out your mouth? Like, come on, people. What can we do to cut back on some of these areas? Turn the light off. Like little simple things like that. Those we have on the utility side, what can we do to affect change, right? Instead of having today's a nice day, have the window open. You don't need the AC, right? And then you have your periodic expenses. The periodic expense are those expenses that doesn't come every month, like maybe your taxes or your insurance, but they do come, right? Semi-annually, annually, quarterly. And guess what? They're not a surprise. You can plan for them. So create a sinking fund, create an envelope system, and put money aside every month so that you can cover those expenses. As parents, I'm a mom, my kids' summer is coming, and I go to my kids go to public school, but in summertime, we got to pay for camp. So guess what? Every month I put money away for camp because that's a big one. My husband and I both work full-time jobs. So yes, we're paying camp. It's a must, right? We also have our vacation. We like vacations. I know that we're debt-free, we can go on vacation. When we're not debt-free, we're in our backyard. Yep, we're in the park downtown. We're at the library. The library put on amazing programs. You don't need those things. So think about it. What are ways that we can cut back on the things and or maybe reframe our thoughts of what's fun or activities that we can do for ourselves? So still, it's like, you're like, Petra, I get it. Income minus expense, I get it. But still, seriously, how do you do it? I still don't get it. How do you do it? First of all, there are a lot of apps out there that can help you do that. You can even link your bank account. I use the EveryDollar app, the Dave Ramsey app. No promotion here. I don't get anything for that. But some of my clients do love the Dave Ramsey app. You also have You Need a Budget app. There are a lot of apps out there that you can use. But if you say, you know what, I just want to start off with pen and paper, I'm a pen and paper person, that is fine. You list your income, you write it down. So income 1, income 2, income 3, or if you only have one, just income 1, you add that up. What is that balance? You then subtract your emergency fund. Hopefully that's already gone and not even in your bank account, right? You do that. And then you subtract your expenses. You list all your expenses, that your core expenses for that month, your utilities, your survival, they're not just expenses to live. Your living expenses, that's a better way to say. You subtract that. Now, if you have money left over, fantastic. We can talk about attacking debt, talk about planning for those sinking funds, those miscellaneous items. If you have no money left over, we need to go back and see, okay, do we have an expense problem or do we have an income problem? Where's the problem? And what can we do? What can we cut out? What can we eliminate? Or do I need to get a second job? Or do I need to get an increase in income, right? We need to look at those things. Remember, with your budget, you have to be flexible. You really have to be flexible with yourself. Give yourself some grace. It takes time to get it, 60 to 90 days to really get a hang of it. But even I have to reallocate based on the seasons, right? Right now in school, I'm not having the same expenses as I'm going to have when my kids are not in school. And when the holidays come around, that's a whole new, it's a different budget. Budget looks different based on the season you're in. So I know some of you have some questions really about budgeting. I want to know where you're stuck, what your pain point is, and ask me those questions because I really want to answer those questions before I move on. Anyone? I really want to answer those questions. Go ahead.
Something. I think what you just said was helpful about the budget changes based upon the season that you're in. I always felt like once you set a budget, that was it. And I think that was giving me a hard time with adjusting and like sticking to the plan. So I know I know the budget ebbs and flows and I can plan it accordingly. So I think that's something I'm going to use moving forward as well.
Yes. A budget is a living, breathing document. It's a reflection of your life and you're constantly changing, right? There are things that are constantly happening. For example, you know, you might put away money for this category, but guess what? Something else came up and you're like, all right, let me have to reallocate the funds over here. You know, that's okay. But the thing is, you know how much you have, Mariah, you know how much money you have, and you know what you can work, what you're working with. And that's the most important thing. Your budget let you know what your parameters are. Let you know, okay, I can afford a $20 shirt, or no, I can't afford a $20 shirt, which is, you need to be informed. By being informed, you can make better informed decisions about your money. And that's what a budget basically does. Anybody else have a pain point, or if Mariah have more questions about it? Anybody else with a budget? Like what it is that you can't get past, or if you have a blockage that you don't understand? We can talk about it. No?
No, for me, you said before, I already figured mine is I just have more bills than bucks. So I do have to create additional revenue. Some of that stuff, you did say something that kind of got my attention with certain things, like she said, being in the season and setting your restraints and doing more of your needs versus wants. I got that part. So it did make a lot of sense to have that confirmation as well for me.
Yes. And there are also, there's ebbs and flow. If you know your business have a slow season and a peak season, right? So make sure you can plan for that. We call, I forgot what they call it, ebbs and flow. It's not valley or something. It doesn't matter what they call it. Either way, we want to do a $0 budget, right? Meaning that you want to allocate every penny that comes in, no money left over. And if you have when is your peak season? Let's say it's January. I don't know. I know that's not my peak season, but January, January to March is your peak season. The money is coming in, and you know, okay, the next couple of months I won't have anything coming in or barely anything at all. Then you need to figure out what it costs you month over month to manage your business and to manage your life, and say, this is what I need. So you put away that money, that big lump sum of money, you need to stretch it out, right? So if you know, if you get $20,000 in this season, that's not about $20,000, and be like, I need $5,000 for this month, $5,000 for this month, $5,000 for this month. You know, you can only spend a certain amount this month because you're going to need the rest to cover for the slow season and pick it back up, or find a different way in those slow season to bring in that extra income. You know, what can you reduce, or what don't you need within the slow season that you might need in the high season? And can you do without it? Can you, go down on certain things? It's very big in that. Maybe, you don't buy as much inventory in your slow season. Maybe you don't need that much inventory on hand if you do inventory. But these are all things we got to think about when we looking at our budget and seeing how it's working in our business and in our personal lives. How can we change things around, reallocate things, or look at it differently from, outside the box to make it work, doing those ebbs and flow, because there are, in every business, there's ebbs and flow. Does that make sense? Okay. Anybody else? But that's, yeah, it's very tricky with that. But once you know what it costs you for your expenses monthly, the monthly expenses, and you know what you need to cover, how much we need to have on hand to cover, then you're able to make more informed decisions when you have that surplus. When you have that surplus, you get excited that, oh, I can do this with it, I can buy this, I can do this for the business, the strategic move. But if you say, wait a minute, I won't have anything coming in these next 3 months, you got to subtract those 3 months from the surplus as well, and then see what you really have. Okay. Okay. So I don't know if Ray have the activity for you guys. I'm gonna give you guys the activity as we're winding down, Ray.
I think Tanya might have that. No. Let's see.
I do not.
Okay.
Petra, you send it via email?
It's okay. I can send it to you guys. We can do. I did send it via email. We can keep going because we're running on time anyway. I want to respect everyone's time. Well, basically, I really want you to go home today and really revisit your budget, look at it, see what's happening, and make some really informed decisions after you go through those bank statements, business and personal. Really look at them. That's the starting point. Also, if we're trying to pay off debt, as Mariah explained, or others of you are thinking about it, please pull your credit report. We need to know what's being said about you on those credit report. Your lenders report everything about your financial situation to the credit bureau. So pull your credit report, and you can do that. Annualcreditreport.com. That's the only place that the federal government certify and give the okay and approval for. Annualcreditreport.com. Pull that credit report, review it, and pull it from all 3 bureaus: Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Do that, look at it. If anything is wrong on there, even if they spell your name incorrectly, I want you to correct any mistakes that's on there. Look for errors. That's the first low-hanging fruit you have, and that any errors can, by eliminating certain errors, you can boost your credit score significantly based on the error. And if you see something on there that you don't recognize, that outstanding debt or charge-off they don't recognize, ask questions. You can tell them, hey, can you give me some information on this? They have to provide a response within 30 days. They have to. All right. And if it's not yours, if they can't show or validate that the debt is yours, then it's off. If the debt is yours, then you can come with a plan or reach out to that collection agency or that company and try to negotiate terms and get that off your report. Okay.
I have a question real quick.
Yes.
What if you have Experian? Is that considered a like when you're paying for the app?
Mhm.
Could you, I know Credit Karma can be off, but Experian, is that exact or is it off
But
too?
yeah, Experian give you Experian credit report. That's right.
But that
credit.
would be valid. Okay, I just want to make
Yeah,
sure.
Experian is valid. Experian is valid, but that's only one though. Remember,
Why?
yeah, that's when the lenders are looking at to give you a loan, they're looking at all three. They're looking at your FICO score usually, and the FICO score is a representation of all three of the bureaus, right?
I was
And
just asking to see if I have to, if I should continue to pay for the app. If it wasn't accurate, I wasn't going to
no,
continue
it's
to pay.
accurate, but why are
Okay.
you paying for the app?
Experian?
Why? Mhm.
I thought that was the only way you can get the actual whole gist of Experian. I mean,
No, I'm saying, why do you have the app? Why are you paying for it? What's the purpose? Why did you sign up for it?
oh, because I can see an actual from my planning, from my budgeting and trying to get out of debt. So I
Mhm.
didn't know if everything, I knew that one, I know you can only pull once a year, if I'm not mistaken, for your annual credit report.com. But
Mhm.
I feel like that would have been at least an opportunity to have an exact credit report throughout the year, and whatever tools it offers, I could follow it. So that's why
Okay. Well, right now, all the credit bureaus are allowing you to put your credit report monthly for free and weekly for free. Right now,
oh, I didn't know that.
yeah. But what you're talking about, that you get allowed once a year, the federal government saying that they have to, by the Fair Credit Reporting Act, they have to give you at least one copy of your credit report free annually from each of the credit bureau. But right now, all the credit bureaus, ever since COVID, they've been giving you copies of your credit report for free. So what you're doing, if you're trying to pay down your debt, you pull your credit report from all three bureaus, look at your debt, list them. You have the snowball method or the avalanche method. Okay, those are the best methods to use. I would say do not borrow money to pay down debt. You're just digging yourself deeper. And you come up with a plan for that. And you can keep knocking them off one by one. If there's certain debts you have, negotiate, call them, call your lender. It's already in collection, call them. Don't be scared to have the conversation and say, hey, this is where I'm at. I don't have the funds. I know this debt is mine. I know it's my obligation. I want to respect my obligation. Well, not respect, well, honor my obligation. And they will work with you. The thing is, people want their money back. Because you borrow with the promise to pay, right? Just like a cousin that always borrow money but never pay you back. If you see them coming, what are you gonna do? You're gonna run, right? You're gonna like, nope, I don't want to. You're gonna close the door. You're gonna be like, nope, yeah, nope, nope. But it's the same thing here. So you don't have to pay for these extra things. And that's why I asked that question. To do that, you just have to pull your credit report and do it. But if it gives you peace of mind and comfort to pay for it and see it every month, that is okay too. It's all based on preference. But just think about the trade-off. How much you paying for the month? What, 19, 20? Okay.
Approximately, yeah.
Yeah, and it's worth it for you, right?
Yeah.
Peace of mind?
When I do, consistency is something I'm working on as well in all areas of life. So
repeat that. I didn't understand.
Consistency is
Okay.
something that I'm working on in all areas of life as well. I can have the dots and the tools, but it's no good if you're not revisiting them consistently.
Yeah. So if you have actually have a budgeting app, right, that you can track, if you're not a pen and paper person, you can keep track of that as well. And there's a debt section in your app, the one that I use, Dave Ramsey one, that track your debt and how much you have paid down your debt. So it's not a matter of you with the Experian app. That's great. It's showing you what is being reported. But if you have a budget, that takes care of everything for yourself. You don't have to have all these extra things out there. It's all in
Yeah,
one
I'm
place.
still a pen and mint.com. I had that too, but I didn't know what I was doing that when I years ago had it. But yeah, I do pen and paper. I do pen and paper, and I do it in more forms. I do Excel spreadsheets. So I take it back old school, but I do know there's apps to that as well. Just learning a new thing all the time kind of can get a little challenging too, and slowing down the process.
Because absolutely, I get it. Because my mom does pen and paper as well. But the thing is, I'm not advocate for Apple. Whatever you're comfortable with, but with the app, what happens is that the next month you can just carry it over. You can see a trend. It's right on your phone anytime. You can look at it. I can look at it and say, oh, I only have $200 left in this, but in my gas for this month. So something like that.
You also have it in your, I don't know, like you were saying, all the different accounts. I have a few of them too, and they all look like cousins. But better yet, twin sisters and brothers. Listen, but either way, I do that. In your institution, they will trend your account for you. I
Mhm.
finally found that tool, and it will tell you your spending and your both of it. So it's just another
Yes.
tool
Yeah,
that you can
I know
have.
that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's telling you what's happening. That's not you planning what's going to happen.
Right,
Your
right,
budget is you
right.
planning. Your budget is you say, okay, this is my income that's coming, and this is what I'm going to do with this dollar, and this dollar. That's you telling your money what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, where it's going to go. And that's what I want you to do, is to get a budget and tell it where to go. So all these other tools help you know what's happening with your money, how you're spending your money. But I want you to get in the habit of organizing your money and sending your money where you want it to go. Okay. And as Katana, I give out free consultations to everyone at HECO. So that's fine if you want to really sit and talk and see, hey, really help me figure this thing out. I am here if you need that. Any other questions? I know we run for time. Okay. So as I wrap up these last two slides, to be financially healthy, I have 3 prongs that I want you to think about if you think yourself to be financially healthy. Being able to fully meet current and ongoing financial obligation, meaning that you can pay your bills and in full, and it's okay. You feel secure in your financial future, you have some kind of retirement plan, IRA, Roth IRA, 401k, something that secure your future, that if you were to retire or life should stop, you're like, I'm fine, I can live comfortable. And then being able, after all that, after you spending money, send money to your retirement accounts and pay all your bills, you can still enjoy life. If you have all those fully complete, you are in a good place. You're in a good place. So, my grandmother always told me to live below my means, but I'm going to tell you, live below your means and invest the rest. You cannot save your way to wealth. It is a good place to start, but you need to invest. Okay? You need to invest.
I have 2 questions really quick.
Yes.
One thing is, are we going, before I forget it, I understand like some of the tone of the presentation is when you're currently with the household running with the small kids, but is there, just as future thought, is there a way that we can have a budgeting when the kids are out the house, you haven't did what you were supposed to do, that type of mindset as a part 2? One question. And then the second question is, I was working, I didn't even know there were slides because I wasn't able to see it. Can we, the group members, get a copy of the slides so we can revisit some of the concepts that we may have not even visually seen?
I will send us the slideshow out after the session. Dana usually goes out within 24 hours or so.
Okay, no worries. Thank you.
And it'll have your questions on it too. So you can get the interaction.
Oh, nice. Okay, perfect.
So your budget for, you want something to talk about budget for when your kids are out of the house and it's just you just resettle back in for you and, your house and your partners and stuff like that. We can do something like that. Absolutely.
Like, it's like what, like now what type of budgeting? Like,
Yeah.
okay, now what? You
Yeah.
got the kids off, you got some debt left behind from the college education. Maybe you didn't plan accordingly, but when they were little, like now what budgeting?
Okay, now what? I like that name.
I'm good for the ideas. I just need them ideas to bring me some money. Sorry, did I say that out loud?
See, we got to change that mindset. We got to change that. I'm talking about. No, we need to know a mindset reset around here, Katanya. Okay. Okay. So today I want you to leave with something. What is one financial change you will make starting this week? Okay, it doesn't matter if you come here and feel inspired. You need to take action. That's when change occurs. You got to take action. You got to take one step. So I'm not saying doing everything at once. Take one step. Do one thing that will put you in the right direction to where you want to go. So I want that to be your homework. Take some time, reflect, and decide which one thing you're going to do this week. Then we can go by next week because then, our desire diminishes. We get inspired and if we go by one and we don't take action, we just fall off. Take an action. Say you're going to say today, tonight, it's going to get done. Okay, while you're inspired, while you're motivated, it's the best time to do it. And I really do want you to work on that vision board if you have not done so. You really need to work on it. it really does it gives you direction. And if you're like, if you own your business, they say, I need to generate income, but you don't know how, we need to figure out a way, right? We need to figure out a way to do so. Massive action is the cure-all. Massive action. We're going to take massive action on that. All right. So building a strong financial foundation takes time. It's about making smart decisions on a daily basis. And I love this quote, old keys don't open new doors. If you have a new door, you need new keys. You know, my grandfather had a whole ring of keys. I'm like, why? You got rid of those, where do they belong? Oh, some from the old building, some from the old house. I'm like, they no longer work. They no longer work. Old keys cannot open new doors. That means your whole habits that's holding you back financial, that's keeping you stuck in your financial position. You need to get rid of them. You need to change that mindset so that you can open the new doors that's coming ahead of you. Okay. Okay. Once again, I'm so happy that I was able to be here today. If are there any other questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Ask me anything, even if it wasn't on this topic. Feel free to ask me. I'm here. Okay.
I'm glad I learned on. I'm glad everybody was able to participate.
Yeah. All right, I think everybody's okay.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you, Ross, for staying. I know we went over a little bit, but thank you so much. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys may have in the future or currently.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good one. Please, if you get a chance to leave a Google review based on the conversation today so that we know that we can make sure that we are bringing you information that you need.
Okay.
And the link to the Google review is in the chat.
Okay.
Thank you
Absolutely.
all
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care.
Hold on, Jason. I know. Oh man, I didn't see the
What
from
happened?
Jason. Jason had a question. I'm sorry, Jason. Probably left already. Since Mint.com was discontinued, which budgeting apps do you recommend? I did mention two. So hopefully, every dollar you need a budget, and even though Mint was discontinued, I think they went to something, rebranded to something else. But just go to I can send a link to where you can get different budgeting apps, but I know those two work very well for my clients. The Every Dollar and the You Need a Budget, they like it very much.
So Petra, if you could put that in the email to me, just send me an email because Jason's definitely not on any longer. Send it to me and I will include it when I reach out to everybody that attended today's seminar. I will include that information as well.
Perfect.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye. Thank you again.
You got it. Bye-bye.
Bye.